Hello and welcome. We're going to talk about the core and the pelvic floor today. Exercises that you can do to help strengthen your core and your pelvic floor. Get that involved because it's all part of the same thing. We're going to be focusing on our inner core unit. You would have seen a little bit of a write-up in the notes about how that you have an inner core unit and an outer core unit. We are focusing on the inner core unit with these exercises. So our diaphragm, our TVA, our multifidus, which is our spine, and I forget the next one. Your pelvic floor. I knew you were gonna answer that for me. Anyway, let's get going. These are the exact exercises that I do and have done in the past in order for me to get to where I am now, not wetting myself every time I go for a little long walk. So I'm going to make sure I show you exercises that you can do at home and you don't need any equipment whatsoever. So we'll start off. Always please pay attention to your body. If you're feeling sharp pain anywhere, then stop doing what you're doing. If you're feeling like a dull ache sensation, then generally that's you working your muscle, and it should be okay, but obviously listen to your body. You know it better than anyone else. Now, first exercise, we're going to tie in your breathing, your diaphragm with your pelvic floor just to get the base correct. So you'll be lying on your back, get comfy, it can be on a mat or a towel. All I want you to do is relax, and you're just going to breathe in through your nose, expand your belly, and breathe out through your nose or mouth, and your belly falls. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, every time you breathe out, I want you to sip your pelvic floor. Now, when I say sip, I don't mean suck it all the way in, holding a wee and a poo. I mean just sipping it like a cup of tea, sip. So you're gonna breathe in, breathe out, sip your pelvic floor. If you're not sure if it's activating or working, put your hands here, just on that sort of ovary section, and you know when you feel that your period ache. So you're gonna breathe in, breathe out, sip your pelvic floor, and you'll feel like a little flutter or a pulse if you know if your pelvic floor is being activated. Make sure you sip your front and back, so your wee and your poo at the same time. Just get used to doing this. This is the basis of every sort of core exercise that we're going to do. So get this rhythm right. Sometimes it can take a lot for people to get used to this type of breathing and like involving your pelvic floor with it. So take time to do this exercise. Breathe in, expand, breathe out, sip your pelvic floor. If you find that you're struggling a little bit, sip your pelvic floor before you breathe out. So breathe in, sip your pelvic floor, breathe out. See if that is easier for you to do or not. Press pause on here. I want you to get the hang of doing this first before you move on. Now we're back. We're going to be doing another exercise for your core. So now we've got the basics right. You're going to breathe in, breathe out, crunch. I don't want you to crunch with your neck. I want you to have your head be really heavy in this sling. You're going to breathe in, breathe out. Remember, you breathe out, sip the pelvic floor. Again, breathe in, breathe out. Sip the pelvic floor, breathe in, breathe out. Now really try and lift those shoulders off the mat if you can. You'll feel a crunch in the tummy, and you want to do like try 10, stop, rest, do it again. You want to increase it, try 15, do 3 rounds. You want to increase it again, do 20. You go with what you can do in your building on your own foundations, okay? There's no competition with the right way to do it. It's just strengthening your body. So breathing in, head heavy in this sling. Breathe out. come up, lift the shoulders, sit the pelvic floor. If you find after doing these exercises, it's all in the top part of your abs, then you're not breathing in your pelvic floor correctly or enough. So I would say to breathe in, sit the pelvic floor first, and then breathe out. See if we can get that pelvic floor involved. You can also, if you have a ball, great. If you don't, use a cushion, put it in between your legs. You may find that just having an anchor will help you with the pelvic floor. So breathe in, breathe out, sit the pelvic floor, come up, breathe out, and squeeze the ball or cushion. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. If you find that your lower back is aching, you need to step it back a bit and really make sure that your back is flat and your pelvis is tilted flat. You may find that maybe it's just focus on the breathing exercise first until you strengthen the core a bit more, and then you can progress to the crunch. So you can pause this, do your exercise. We're now going to show you an alternate legs. This is the next progression from this. I'm swapping sides just to mix it up a little bit. So you can do your legs in tabletop. This is where you really need to make sure, if you are someone who's feeling their lower back in the last exercise, do not progress to this until you feel like you're stronger in your core and you're linking your pelvic floor. So your back is super flat, tucked in, you've got a slight crunch in the tummy and you're holding it here. This may be enough for you. You may be feeling shaky in the tummy right now. You can just be holding it here for 30 seconds and that's your exercise. 30-second hold, rest, and then you can come again, do another 30-second hold. Being aware of your pelvic floor. You can't hold your pelvic floor generally for 30 seconds at a time, but you're aware of it. Now, if you want to progress from this, you can lower the legs further away as long as your back is staying flat, you're feeling that crunch in the tummy. That might be another one for you, you can hold. If you want to progress from this, you breathe in, breathe out. Sit the pelvic floor, breathe in, breathe out. Sit the pelvic floor, breathe in, breathe out. Sit the pelvic floor, see I'm shaking, breathe in, breathe out. Sit the pelvic floor. Do 6 total. See how you feel? You can always progress to 10. If you are feeling it in your lower back, just slightly is okay because we're actually exercising it, but if you're feeling it quite intensely in the lower back, pull it back, step back. Especially, you may find that your pelvic floor's not able to be activated or your lower back's aching because maybe if you're tired, if you've not had much sleep, then things are weaker when you're tired. Just know that and just nurture your body. Maybe today's not the day to do exercise, okay? You can step back and go just to do some breathing exercises or some mobility stretching. Right, your next exercise, press pause, do these exercises if you can progress, and then I've got 2 more to show you. So your next one, head in a sling, legs in tabletop, flat back, pivot that pelvis. You're going to breathe in, breathe out, crunch to the side, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Remember, every time you breathe out, sit that pelvic floor, breathe in, breathe out. And you want to do 10 on one side. Breathe in, breathe out. If you're not finding it hard enough, move your legs slightly away. Stay crunched in the tummy. Breathe in, breathe out. If you want to progress it, again, you can do 3 rounds of 10 on each side, or you can do 15 on one side, rest, 15 again on one side, rest, 15 again on one side, that same side, max out this side of the obliques, and then you can do the other side. Mix it up, there's lots of different variations that you can do. Pause it if you're choosing to do this exercise. Last exercise I want to show you. You will find that people who are struggling with their lower back and struggle with these exercises, then this one is a really good one for you to introduce. So, if you've got wrist ache or pain, maybe curl your fingers and see how you go. That might feel nicer. Or you can probably get onto your forearms, so give your wrists a rest if they're really painful. Otherwise, we're going to do a bird dog. So core is strong. You don't want to arch here. You don't want to come up here like this. I'd rather you come up than arch. However, you just want to stay neutral. If you are flexy like me with my elbows, really be aware of not overextending the elbows. You want to stay soft. Now your core is strong, activated. You're going to be aware of your pelvic floor, but again, it's very hard to hold your pelvic floor for a long period of time. So you're sipping it. You're going to breathe out as you sip. Crunch. Breathe in. Breathe out. Sip. Breathe in. Breathe out. Sip. So elbow to opposite knee. Breathe in. Breathe out. Sit the pelvic floor. Breathe in. Breathe out. Sit the pelvic floor. You're extending, reaching, really crunching in, extending, reaching. Now the slower you go, the harder it is, so slow it down. You could just do 4 or 5 on one side and then do 4 or 5 on the other side. This is really going to be about your core strength and if we've got any hip imbalances. So you can try and keep yourself as symmetrical as possible. If you have any knee pain, put on another pad underneath your knees. If this doesn't suit you, you can also come onto your fists if you've got wrist ache. If this doesn't suit you, remember, listen to your body. Don't do it. So you're gonna reach, squeezing that bottom, and crunch. Reach, breathe out, sit the pelvic floor, breathe in. There are your exercises. I hope you enjoy, slightly out of breath. This is how we're going to get your inner core unit firing and getting everything functioning at its best.